Hey everybody, Ben Dupree coming at you again, bringing you my Sunday morning message. It's a message that's been laid on my heart about a very important topic right now, and that is the topic of contentment. Now, I'm going to begin this lesson with a very difficult question. The hardest time in your life. Think about it. What was it? I've have a list here that I want to share with some of y'all, but a list of some of the hardest times in my life. When I first started teaching school, I loved teaching school, but I still wasn't really sure if I had chosen the right career path. Now, as time went on, that fear began to disappear, but there for a while I was really wondering if this is what I wanted to do to to do with the rest of my life. Um, some of y'all know this, but after after my wife gave birth to our first child, I was in the operating room. It was an emergency C-section, and I was watching her as she stopped breathing on the operating table. That was very very difficult to watch. I was truly helpless in that situation. Um, I've been a failure as a coach, winning a grand total of 4 games. My first year of doing it, out of 20 some odd games, I think we were. I think it was 20 games exactly. I think we were 4-16 that year. Finding out that my wife had health problems that were incurable, that she would never get better from. Finding out that both of my parents had cancer. Finding out that my neurological condition, my eye condition, it would never get any better. It would never be as it was before. And all these times were difficult, but the one thing I remember about them is they were truly humbling, because they made me realize how truly powerless I am. And I think a lot of us are feeling that way right now with this virus situation and not knowing what the future is going to hold, as we watch every day as the number of confirmed cases climbs, and we just don't know what the future holds, and we are totally helpless. We are fighting an enemy we can't even see. But every time I'm brought back to Paul's letter to the church at Philippi, chapter 4 of that, verses 11 and 13, he says, I don't say this out of need, for I have learned to be content in whatever the circumstances. I know both how to have little and I know how to have a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret to being content, whether I'm well fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need. And then there's that beautiful verse, I am able to do all things through him who strengthens me. Now, y'all, I want you to understand something. Paul wrote these words from prison. Okay? It was not exactly a high point of his life, but he said that his circumstances, his day-to-day environment had nothing to do with his contentment. It didn't matter to him if he had plenty or if he had nothing. He was just as happy in prison as he was on the mission field. So now when I read these verses, I substitute some of my own in there. And I have a copy of that here that I would like to share with you. My version would read, I know what it is to be certain, and I know what it is to question. I know what it is to feel fear, and I know what it is to hold a miracle. I know what it is to be loved, and I know what it is to be hated. I know what it feels like to lose. I know what it feels like to win. I know what it is to see my loved ones happy and healthy, and I know what it's like to see them in pain. And I know what it's like to never have things like they were before. But I've learned the secret to contentment in each and every situation has absolutely nothing to do with me. Nothing whatsoever. My contentment does not rest on me. My contentment, my peace, my happiness It's also not found in my day-to-day environment. It's not found in my immediate circumstances. It is found in and because of my relationship with Jesus Christ. Point blank, period, the end. It's not up to me. It doesn't depend on my feeble, wavering emotions. My contentment is because of the relationship that I have with Jesus Christ. My peace in this crisis is because of the relationship that I have with Jesus Christ. My contentment, not knowing what tomorrow will hold, not knowing if someone that I know or someone that I love will come down with this virus, not knowing how to fight it off and where it is and where it's going to show up next. My contentment is not dependent upon these constant wavering facts and figures. My contentment, my happiness, my peace is found in my relationship with Jesus. So now I want you to ask yourself a question. Where does your contentment come from? Where is its origin? Do you live or die by what surrounds you? Are you driven by the if-onlys in life? If only I could get this. If only I could lose that. If only I could get this particular relationship with this person. Are you driven by the what-ifs? Is your focus on Jesus Christ, or is it on the ever-changing, wavering, trembling circumstances of this world? And then I want you to look at the last verse that Paul wrote there in the section that we read. Except I want you to turn it into a question. Are you able to do all things and to find peace in all things and to be content through all things through Him who gives you strength? Y'all, I know a lot of us are not happy with the situation right now. I miss my church family. I miss my family. I'm fortunate that my wife gets to work from home and our children are here with us, but I miss my brothers. I miss my sister-in-laws, my nieces, my nephews, my parents, my in-laws. But we just really have to stop and ask ourselves, what is our true contentment based on? And do you find it in the one that will always be able to find you? And never forget, y'all, this is a saying that I love. Never forget this. The storms of this life must pass through His hands first. Thank y'all very much for watching. Gold Honor Baptist, I love y'all, and I hope to see you all soon.